And then there's a thief over here. Now, this is from the whole continent. We got one thief from one country only of the many exploiters who's walking away with another briefcase with 500 to 600 billion. That's before we add Germany, Spain, Britain, Belgium, all the former colonizers. They're still playing in Africa. So France alone is walking around with a briefcase with 500 billion, and then, of course, collectively, all the other people who are exploiting Africa from inside, they have their briefcase with 50 billion. You want me to go to spend all my energies and fight this one while ignoring the 500 billion? I'm not saying we should not speak to the 50 billion. Yes, we should. But do not get us to focus all our attention to the 50 billion while ignoring the 500 billion. And that's where the mind game comes in. We are being thrown a shiny object, and we run after the shiny object when the real deal is over here. We are being told that your brother got the bigger chunk of the crumbs under the table, when the real meal, the 10-course meal I call it, is on the table. So we fight and kill each other over who got more of the crumbs under the table, so we can ignore the conversation, the real conversation about the 10-course meal on the table. I don't know about you, but I want that filet mignon, that champagne and caviar. I want to be on the table. Yeah. I refuse to follow the shiny object. And that starts with us having a clear vision, taking another look at our Africa, fresh look, with lenses that are not jaundiced, and have a true understanding of what is really going on. A continent that does not have a single gun manufacturing plant seems to have endless wars. A continent that cannot feed itself seems to have endless cash for the fights, for the wars. Really, guys? Hello? Wake up and smell the coffee. You have a responsibility to understand your Africa for what it truly is, not what they paint it to be. While they tell you not to go to Africa because it is a diseased and dying continent, guess who is running to Africa? They are. And we are stupid enough to listen to them and believe them, even when the truth is right in front of us. You see, you gotta give it to President Trump. He met with the African leaders, not this Unga, but last year. He very blatantly said, I don't know why you guys are poor. My friends go to Africa poor, they come back rich. Did we hear him? No, instead we were complaining. I got a lot of calls. Well, Ambassador, how could he say that? I said, well, did he say anything that wasn't true? Are you with me? The facts are there. But somehow it's almost as if we have undergone a genetic mutation where we cannot see the truth for what it is. We believe in what they want us to believe in. When January, we're marking 400 years since the first slaves first set foot on this country. The question is, are we going to continue another 400 years? Or are the children of Africa going to rise up and say, enough is enough? We're going to turn over a new page. Because the responsibility begins with you. And for us, the healing, the change that we desire starts with you and I having that serious conversation with the image in the mirror. Because until we change our thinking and our appreciation of our circumstances and what has been done to us to keep us precisely where want us to be, nothing is going to change. So as we talk about the spirit of Pan-Africanism, let's understand that that healing, that change we desire begins with you and I on an individual basis. And standing up and rising up and saying enough is enough. Not another 400 years. We are the most hardworking people, most intelligent people I know in the world, hands down. We are descendants of an amazing continent with everything and anything the world can ever need. Your Africa, our Africa is so amazing that we could bring the entire world into Africa, and there's enough room for everybody. Amen. All we are asking is for the world to treat us fairly. You see, at the end of the day, actually, we're all Africans. Life as we know it began in Africa. You see, the DNA, the genome that runs in your veins is the genome of originality. We are a dominant gene. That's why we are indestructible. I'm sorry to say the truth, but you need to know it. And that's why you must stand on top of the tallest mountain and tell the world who you are. You are a proud, beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, and highly adaptable and indestructible African. Yes. I want you also to know one more thing. The world knows that. And they're afraid of us. You see, the colonial masters treated us the way they did. Anybody will tell you, and it's in the history books, it's because they were afraid of the African. The most dangerous thing that can happen to the world today is for black people to come together. And they know that. But the question is, do we realize that? Are we aware of who we are? Where we come from? We are descendants of an amazing continent, the richest continent on earth. I want you to remember that. And every day Africa is discovering more and more natural resources. Can you believe that? In spite of all the exploitation that has gone on for centuries, guess what? They've only tapped maybe 10%. So you see, we have nothing to fear except fear itself. The children of Africa must come home. So as we stand right here, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know there's a beautiful woman called Mother Africa who is parked right outside Washington, D.C. And I have a message for you. She's calling on her children to come back home. Yes. I have no doubt in my mind that all of you in this room and outside will answer the call. Thank you. Amen.